welcome to another episode of Casting Cues. I'm your host, Rebecca Norris, and today we're interviewing Dorian Frankel. Hello.
Hi.
So, Dorian, how did you get your start in casting?
You know, I had been an actor and an improviser, and I had thought about it, you know, as an alternative career for a while, and eventually I just thought, well, I actually kind of want to do this. And I'd heard that the best way to start is interning, because usually with jobs you have to know everything already. And I just started interning, and then my first job, I was just really lucky with my very first job. I put out a resume somewhere, and I got a call from Allison Jones, who was, you know, sort of the ideal person that I would want to work for. And fortunately, she hired me. And so I worked there for a few years, and I just worked on a lot of really, really amazing stuff there. And then I just sort of started moving on and working in other offices just to sort of get a sense of how other people worked and, you know, how dramas worked and things like that. And little by little, you know, here I am.
Since you do so much comedy, what can a comedic actor have on their resume that might get them called into the room?
I mean, the first thing is, does somebody seem right? I'm happy to see people for comedies that don't have a lot of comedy on their resume, especially some of the stuff I do. We're looking for people that feel like real people. So I don't necessarily need that sort of, you know, young, really funny guy.
So, when you're looking at submissions and everything, how
Yeah.
important is a demo reel, and what do you like to see in a demo reel, and how long should a demo reel be?
Okay. Good question. It's always helpful to be able to hear somebody speak and move and act to get a sense of them. What's not useful is like montages and music with your name. Again, we're going through really quickly, and I just want to see a good scene. I want to see the type of actor somebody is, and their, you know, skill level, or whether I get what they're doing, or whether what they're doing fits in with what I'm looking for. So get to the meat right away. I know there are places where you can just do it by clips. That's really helpful, because I can say, well, this show is going to help me. This show is not going to be so useful to me. So I think that's really useful if if you have your reel in a place where you can split it up clip by clip. You know, stuff that looks very dated, that makes it look like you haven't worked in 20 years. It's really cool to see you with Tom Selleck on Magnum PI, but don't put that first, because it gives an impression. And so we just want to see good acting, and sometimes I want to see if somebody feels tall. You can't always tell from a picture, or if they have, you know, a weird voice, or maybe I want a weird voice and everybody has a normal. I don't know. It just it helps. It definitely helps to just sort of get that feeling for whether the person. It's a lot of it's feel, you know.
So now, when you're auditioning actors in the room, what can they do to win roles? And then conversely, what do actors do in the room that loses them the role?
You know, having a sensibility that just aligns with the project, so that, you know, actors are directable, of course, but sometimes when somebody comes in and they sort of get it, they feel it the same way the producers or the director or the filmmakers or whoever gets it, that they're just sort of in tune, that makes it a lot easier. You know, everybody's working really fast now. There's not a lot of time, so to send someone off to a set when they need to sort of be given a lot of help in finding the right feel is more time consuming than sending someone off to the set who just shows up and they're on the same page. So I definitely try to get a sense of that. I certainly, in a lot of the stuff I work on, we have a lot of, you know, 1 or 2 line roles, and I'm open to seeing pretty much anyone, but I feel that if somebody's not comfortable with the process, I'm also nervous, you know, again, to sort of send them to producers, because if they get the job, I don't want to send somebody who just isn't going to be able to bring their best to it because they're not at ease and they're not comfortable. I'm not saying that everybody does this, but when people are exceptionally apologetic or exceptionally grateful, it puts them in a sort of it's like a different status position, and I don't think that is useful particularly.
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep things, you know, casual and friendly, so that everybody just can come in and do their thing, and we can work together, and they're doing their job, I'm doing my job. And I hope that I certainly don't put myself at a higher status. I have no interest in doing that. But sometimes I think people do put themselves at a lower status, and it's just not useful.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Casting Cues, and join us again for our upcoming part 2 with Dorian Frankel.